That's right.
and make fun of Josh because I'm going to beat him in fantasy football this week to move on to the semifinals because
Yeah, he
the long,
just made
terrible
it.
reign of Josh Jeffy needs to come to an end. My younger brother couldn't do it this week.
I know one Duffy man couldn't get through the big game.
Well, he had a healthy lead until that pesky Monday night game where both of his running backs had two touchdowns.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. I know. I was hoping he was here because I saw his. He sent a picture that said the champ is in, and I almost had a picture that said back to back regular season champ is here, and also back to back points champ is
First off, you
taking.
beat me by first off you beat me by 40 points. So calm
Yeah,
down.
40 points, baby.
Secondly, and more importantly, if you're such a great regular season, you're tied for regular season with Nick.
No, we're not tied because I had more points,
Right, but I'm
which
saying
made me the number one seed.
I hate everything about you two. I don't.
He's not wrong.
I know he's
I
not. I
know.
know he's not wrong.
What
Doesn't mean I have to like him being right. He can be right, and I don't like him.
That's
Dude,
right.
he beat me by 100 points. My team was awful this year. Man, this is a bad year.
Oh, you went
It wasn't
through some
great.
injuries. I mean, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey screwed you.
He's been out for almost the whole year. It seemed like.
My overall quarterback play was god awful. I'm going to change that next year. I'm calling my shot right now. I am not going to let that happen again. Freaking Matt Ryan, stiff. Carson Wentz, stiff.
Oh man.
The 1 week I start Cam Newton, stiff. Not happening.
Here's the thing. You want to hear the funniest thing? I drafted Cam Newton.
Yeah, you
traded
traded.
him, turned him into Austin Eckler, and I found out that he got dropped by Pat 2 weeks after I drafted him or something like that because you picked him up and played him.
Yeah, Sean,
Yeah.
You definitely won some trades this year. There's no doubt about that.
I didn't do many, but the ones I did worked out very well for me.
And I know Nick made some trades that turned out to be pretty good for him. So, talking a little fantasy football in case anybody is listening.
Here's what we're doing. We're doing a quasi playoff preview of what's going on. And obviously there's some stalwarts that are always there in the playoffs, myself, Robert included, Josh, I guess, but champion made a return. Some new blood is in there. We have ourselves a worst to first situation in Pat Robinson.
Yeah, what a job.
Even though he got that ass whipped last week against me, I'd like to personally thank Keenan Allen and Deontay Johnson to a certain extent, but if you could just hang on to the ball, that'd be great.
Yeah, he's struggled, that's for sure.
I think this is the first year that not all of us made the playoffs. And obviously it's me who's not in the playoffs because I lost the last 8 games straight or 9. I think I was on a 9-game losing streak or something like that.
Holy cow.
Which
I think you're right, Ed. Yeah, you are right. This is the first year not all 4 of us have made it.
like you have to try to not lose 9 games in a row, and that's exactly what I did. Like I was 4-1.
You
I'm
were
4-10. I pulled the Cleveland Browns. Like what the hell?
Well, I think obviously you're going to have to, sit down with your head coach and figure out if you can get on the same page.
If I had a good kicker this year, things would have changed around for me.
Ed would have won it all, probably.
He wouldn't know because you would have picked up Cody Parkey because he's a Browns guy.
No.
Oh, man.
No. I don't go with Browns kickers. I know better than that. It's either Justin Tucker, Harrison Butker, or Chris Boswell.
Yeah.
I will keep 2 kickers on my roster to keep Justin Tucker. I have no shame in that.
Tucker, man, I was hoping that we would use a timeout before he kicked that 55-yarder.
I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, not that it would have really mattered.
Yeah, it might not have.
I mean, you had 2 timeouts. So what were you going to do with them?
Yeah, at least let him waste his leg a few times and get tired or something. I mean, he probably would have made it anyway, but you just never know.
Well, I was more upset with the fact that we had ample opportunity to shut that down before it happened. And
we did.
And our defense just didn't do it. And that's
3rd and 13 to Trace frickin' McSorley. All you had to do was knock that pass down. We get
All
the
you
ball
had to do.
back, we run it out, we win the game. You don't even get Lamar Jackson back in the game when it matters at that point.
Yep.
Like that was in my mind that was what it was.
Let's
And I'm firmly, and I hate saying this
convinced.
because I'm playing this weekend, but I'm firmly in the Josh Jeffy camp. I'm not happy that we played well. Good teams play well against competition. You need to win those games. Shore up the defense. Let's go. I'm encouraged that they played well against Baltimore, but I wasn't sold on Baltimore in the beginning of the year anyway.
Well, here's
Because
the
I'm
only
not,
the only thing I don't like is, the Browns did play well, but they scored
Yeah.
15 unanswered when Lamar Jackson was out. When he came in, I mean, they just didn't have an answer for him all night. I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, they had 4 sacks on him, which were good, but for the most
Yeah.
part, Lamar could do whatever he wanted. And yeah, Cody
Well,
Parkey missed
let's
4
be very
points, but the defense gave up quite a bit of points and just couldn't get the stops.
let's be fair though. Lamar Jackson did not have a good night passing the ball because he was able to rush. And I'll give him that. He's a fantastic athlete. He can run very well. But when he's forced to sit in the back, sit in the pocket and pick people apart, this year he's had a problem with it. And they are dropping like flies on the offensive line. So if they squeak into the playoffs, they are not a team that I am afraid of. Like, I know Lamar Jackson is what he is, but there's a big difference to me between a Lamar Jackson and a Pat Mahomes, because Pat Mahomes has weapons on the outside that are reliable. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Charles Edwards-Helaire, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even Sammy Watkins and Mecole Hardman. Outside of Mark Andrews and, Ingram and maybe Dobbins to a certain extent, Marquise Brown did not impress me that night. And he had ample opportunities to really take advantage of a depleted secondary, and they didn't do it.
Mark Ingram, I don't even know if he stepped on the field other than on the sidelines.
No, I'm saying, like, outside of those weapons, even coming into this, like, I'm not 100%. They don't have a receiver that stretches the field. They don't have anyone.
That's where they're weak at, wide receiver.
Oh,
Now,
agreed. Well, I think to your point, Sean, I think, well, maybe against your point. I mean, Brown had a bad game, but had he caught some of those passes, Jackson's numbers would have looked a little bit better,
right,
for sure. He dropped 3 passes.
Yeah.
And one of them was for a first down. That might have been from McSorley. I'm not really sure, but
no, I think you're right. He did drop like 3 passes, I think, from Jackson.
I mean, they were right in his hands. Like, he had no reason not to catch those.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that they won't win in the postseason consistently. Not with Lamar Jackson as their quarterback. He will not be able to run they will not be able to ride him to a championship because at the very least, once you get to the playoffs and these better teams, they will scheme a way to stop them. And as of right now, they can't stop a nosebleed.
Right.
So, and if a team like Tennessee really wants to run all over them, they'll do it again.
Yeah. Hell, heck, we did it. To a certain extent, we did it. When we got into the goal line, when we got into the red zone, there was not that much. There was still the threat of the pass, I guess, but we had 2 running backs score four touchdowns. Like, it was not, and Baker did what he had to do, and he looked really good. But I wasn't impressed with Baltimore. I thought Baltimore squeaked it out because it was one of those games whoever had the ball last was going to win, because neither defense was stopping anybody in the second. So as soon as the Browns scored and with any time left on the clock, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. They could start on the 2-yard line. It's just the way these defenses are giving up points and yards and chunk plays. I knew we were going to lose that game. As soon as we left over a minute on the clock for them to score, I was like, this is ridiculous.
Well, even Stefanski even said it himself. He goes, I didn't exactly call, I didn't think a 5-yard hitch was going to turn into a touchdown.
Right.
I can't say, it wasn't he wasn't like he was trying to go for the end zone, because he certainly wasn't. It was an incredible individual effort by Kareem Hunt there, to score that. And it's really tough to tell a player not to do that.
Well, that's the thing. You can go down at the 1-yard line, and then all of a sudden you're 4th down and goal, and might not get in. It's tough you almost have to ride the wave. They were moving down the field pretty pretty easily. I mean, and if they would have went down and got down at the 1 yard line, not make it in, then you're looking at a whole nother headline here. So I mean, you got to in that situation, you just got to score. And I mean, realistically, your defense should be able to hold an offense for 1 minute on the field. I mean, and hold them.
They did. They had them because they had that ability, but they just fourth down and 5. He rolls out, fakes like he's going to run. Everyone comes up like they're supposed to do, and he burns you over the top. I mean, that's the one. Honestly, that was the one pass I was impressed Lamar Jackson threw well as he did, and he still damn near almost overthrew it.
Well, and that was a communication error because you could tell with both guys on the Browns. They both were going towards Lamar, who they thought was going to run. They both went to Lamar Jackson, and that's when Andrews slipped in back of him and was wide open. So, just got to get on the same page and maybe a little better communication in that situation. It's tough because Lamar Jackson is so effective as a runner. You want to stop him with the run, but then that's wide open, and, he can make that pass. So he made the passes when he needed to, unfortunately. And he's just a dangerous quarterback. He's a different kind of quarterback with the running ability that makes him so dangerous. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully Joe Woods can figure it out. And the defense definitely needs to get better.
They didn't get healthy.
It'd also be nice to have the guys
true.
we drafted in the secondary playing and, not the backups who did do an admirable job. They go out there, they do everything they can, but it's just you drafted Greedy Williams and Grant Delpit for a reason because you wanted their skill set in that secondary, and they're going to have to still address that. No matter how this season plays out, they're going to have to get better on defense. Linebacker needs to get better. We need an actual safety that can play run support and maybe another safety that can help out. I don't think we need to address corner because I think Denzel Ward has it, and I think we're seeing something in some of the guys that have stepped up, but I don't know. The Browns have winnable games. Their next 3 games are winnable. I mean, certainly the Jets, because I don't think the Jets want to win at this point. And, this week against the Giants, are you really going to let Colt McCoy come in, beat
absolutely
you?
not.
You know what I mean? I know the defense is very good, but let's be honest here. The Giants haven't exactly played, murderer's row the last 4 weeks. I think they had Cincinnati and Jacksonville and the Jets once that they played or something like that. But, their defense is formidable for sure, but I don't know.
The Giants have been playing better. There's no doubt. The Jets, I mean, Adam Gase is terrible. The Jets are terrible. And they played some close games, but,
who's not terrible? My fantasy football team, because you're looking at a champion. You're looking at your 2020
Yeah, you're
champ.
right. The 2020 regular season champ is
what?
here.
Yeah, great.
Great.
Yeah,
and in 2019, let's remember that.
Yeah, okay, so good. What happened in the playoffs?
I think you're the 2012 fantasy football champion, right? Is that your last one?
2016 is when I won it. But I've been in the playoffs ever since. Was in the finals last year. Bad beat. But was the semis the year before? I was dude, okay. I got it. Ed, I think you should just jump on board Team Duffy. Is what I think it should be. You can get you a T-shirt. Look.
That T-shirt's gonna stink.
It's gonna smell like champion. It's gonna smell like excellence. It's gonna have a Notre Dame Fighting Irish because go Irish. It's gonna have a little bit of something on there, but
something on there. We all know what that something.
It'll be. You know what it'll be? It'll be doused in the blood of my enemies. Is what it's gonna be. It'll be soaked in the blood of my fantasy enemies.
Oh, we'll find out this week. Sean Duffy takes on Josh Jeffy, who couldn't make it here today.
Yeah, because he's afraid. Let him know he's afraid. That's what it is. Assignment. No, he's afraid. He knows.
Ed, do you have a prediction for the? All right, guys. All right. Well, hey, have a great week. Appreciate you guys tonight, and hey, we're halfway to the weekend.
Go Irish.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, take care, guys.
Yep.
See ya.